So, I'm recording, aren't I? Yes, I am. Good. Our band of adventurers, the God's Headache, have arrived at the city of Ulmandow, seeking information on the Wardens of the Worldfire. Through the few days that you have spent here, you had found information that the Wardens may have retreated to an abandoned mine near the city. Upon exploring this mine, you found many, many dwarven bodies, seemingly slain and eaten by a young cave dragon, which you subsequently defeated. After discovering an old facility inside which had what appeared to be the container for this dragon and a weird orb of unknown magical power, you returned back to the city of Ulmandow, where, for the day, you decided to be on a bit of a less intense work through of stuff, searching for various items, learning mounted combat, and discovering that one of you has developed magical spellcasting abilities. Through near to the end of the day, through the use of the dream spell, several of you ended up delving into dreams of friends and foe alike. And while some of you got answers, some resulted in more questions afterwards. And that is where we left off. So, God's Headache, you are in the dining room currently eating your meal. Norium is also there. And at one point, Norium speaks up. Well, the Regent, as I expected, has agreed to my request. Turns out we just needed Father's letter to arrive, which it did. So with a bit of luck, we can hopefully get this mining operation going and look further into this facility.
How long do you think getting, crew together and excavating and everything, how long do you think that will take?
That depends on where we get our workers from. If we get some from Ulmandow, we can get started rather quickly. However, and no offence to the people of Ulmandow, I don't think they'd be very keen on working under a fallow. Outside of that, mining guilds are a possibility, but this may take days or weeks. Plus, we have to arrange protection due to the creatures that are in the mine. I don't imagine that the excavation would start for, at best, 3 weeks.
You could put a request in with the plane hunters at least for some sort of protection.
That will be
Although
the
Paladins
easiest
might
one.
take that over.
Not... The Paladins don't need to know about a projection job if they aren't told. I think you're forgetting. I, too, am a plane hunter. I'll see what I can do. I know a few groups that are nearby that might be willing to help. And I'd imagine if a fallow asked for the plane hunters directly, even if it is a fallow, I believe they'd be honoured to work for us.
Hopefully the workers here will be grateful for the job. I know that some of them are kind of down on their luck after what Mother did.
A lot of them are, although we'll have to make sure that they aren't going to be joining just to sabotage us.
That could also delay it.
Yeah, so we'll have to be careful. We'll have to vet our sources. This is why I suggested potentially some of the mining guilds. They don't have the baggage of the treatment of the population here.
Of course.
So, with that in mind, unless you wish to wait here for potentially weeks or months of work, which I'm sure as you're aware, Sissa, would be a very bad idea, I suggest we plan on getting any loose ends resolved now, so that when you return, and whatever loose ends appear from this excavation can be dealt with without any other interference.
I can agree with that, though I did want to speak to you about something. Privately.
Of course, of course. If that's the case, do the rest of you have plans then?
Well, I believe Valeth and I needed to discuss something with the group.
Privately, I would assume, yes?
I looked to Valeth.
Well, I think all of us are involved now, but yes, should probably keep it somewhat under wraps.
Very well then. If that is the case, while you all discuss this, and he just kind of stands up, I need to look at a few things that have been brought to my attention. I'll only be in the study. If one of you let me know when you are finished, I will promptly return, and we will continue this conversation. Just give a small bow and walks in towards the library.
I don't remember.
All right. What is it you two?
There, Dom.
I'm going to be.
Which thing are you talking about?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Last night, I met Valeth's patron.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What is he taking a fancy to you now?
I told him.
Aye, don't mind me, I got a hangover.
More or less, he pulled me out
It seems there is...
from the dream that I was talking to a close friend of mine from.
There seems to be an entity of some sort that is making a mess of the place that dreams come from.
I'd call it the dream realm.
Yes, there's something that has been preying on Delson here to some extent, and possibly me as well. I was recalling a vision I had, or a dream that I had recently, and I think I have to find another place, my friends. A bridge with a dried up riverbed. I'm not sure why or what's there, but it could have something to do with it, and it could be dangerous considering now we have this dream demon to deal with. I'm not sure what exactly it is.
When Valeth says dream demon, Nemesis just kind of raises the brow at him. Like, the hypocrisy.
Well, it's true.
So, you want us to stop one dream demon, quote unquote, to help another?
I don't believe Room is a demon.
I believe that he's some sort of unholy entity.
Whatever room is. It's better
Please
to
believe
trust
what you
the
want.
devil you know than the one that you don't.
Well put, Delson.
I frankly don't trust any of it.
Honestly, I'm very wary on this too, but
I'm not sure we have the capabilities as of yet to actually do anything about that, but we could
in,
prepare
indeed.
and be ready for anything, so to speak.
Besides, he has offered me a deal of sorts as well.
What?
Basically, it's a quid pro quo. I help him out with this situation, and well, he'll help me out with this faceless entity I've seen in my
So
sister's
we're all
dreams.
just making deals with some sort of strange, possibly evil creature. Great idea.
Nemesis,
Worked out well for me so
I'm not exactly blessed like you are. I don't exactly have many options.
I suppose not, if those are your two choices. Doesn't mean that I'm pleased about it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright,
Besi-
well, if we can't do anything about it right now, then maybe we should not mess with it until we have to.
Yes, I will not mess with the realm of dreams for now, seeing as that's how this shit will just get worse.
it does seem that the more that we delve into the realm of dreams, the more noise we make. Splashes, waves in a pool. That sort of thing. The more we move around and do things.
The more it will attract the sharks.
Precisely.
Alright.
So, I think you're right, Delson. It's dangerous magic.
I hope you and Norium won't mind if I use your library to look into more about dreams itself and if there's anything we can do to alter them for our favor somehow.
I suppose as long as you don't destroy it like Trothnarr.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm not a complete fucking asshole who would destroy knowledge like that.
Love that Delson is on this now. He wants to do this and research things because now I actually have somebody who's not an idiot trying to research things. Because
Yeah, the world's greatest detective.
I just can't get information because I'm terrible.
I'm just surprised that Nemesis knows about what happened to the books, considering Trofnar was the last person in there.
Well, we were having this conversation where Nori got the letter from their dad, so I would have to assume that at least a day passed.
This is actually the day after. This is actually the night after, the morning after, even. So it hasn't actually been aware.
It's the morning after. I assume that Nori would have told her anyways. Because it's his precious books, his babies.
All right.
Alright.
So a few minutes. I assume with the conversation that a few minutes pass, and Norium walks back in and sits down. Right, well, I suppose you've, judging by the silence, you have finished your conversation. So, what is your plans then for today, if I may so duly ask?
I'm going to be abusing your library.
You see,
However,
you see him visually wince at that.
don't worry, I'm not going to actually break anything. I'm just going to probably be in there all day.
Very well, just don't disturb Essie.
Essie.
Yes, my pseudo-dragon. I believe you've met her?
Yes, baby.
Oh yes, the other one that was playing with Scamper.
Yes.
I think.
I'm not sure if you could call that playing.
She likes to sleep in the library, so long as you don't disturb her den, you'll be fine. You hear Truff now, like, grumble a bit.
Got like a little sting mark like on his face.
Yeah, you guys notice that he's got, like, a mark just below his eye.
Alrighty then, I shall make sure to bring a treat just in case I accidentally do so.
No, don't worry, her den is quite easy to see. Look for the pile of books that doesn't look like it's been looked after well. Piled around and everything.
Well, that'll be easy to find.
And the rest of you?
I think that the rest of you should prepare to leave. It seems like we're leaving soon.
I will spend most of the day with Delson, and then I'll prepare. I don't have much to put together and carry around. I tend to travel quite light.
If someone could give me like some healing potions, that would be great.
Yes, I'm actually only down to these last two.
I believe the apothecary is in some supply, though many of them have been bought out due to the war.
Apothecary, you say?
Yes, the apothecary.
If only we weren't in a rush. But I'll probably meet them tomorrow. See what reagents they have.
Very well.
Oh, yes, what's the status of our cart?
Regrettably, the damage is quite severe. How do I word this in a simple way? The axle has been partially sheared off. And unfortunately, we cannot get it repaired by today. However, I don't think Mother will mind if one of our smaller carts went missing.
That'll do then. Hopefully we can come back with the other cart intact and just switch them out.
Yes, honestly, I don't think Mother will notice the difference.
Alright, at least that's settled. I think, for the most part, I'm ready to go at any time.
Very well. Also, in regards to the orb that you had found, I definitely recommend that you should take that with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it should remain here.
I agree. We should keep it with us at all times, try to keep it safe.
And the next question I need to ask is, well, Mother may not notice the cart changing size. She will most certainly recognize a taxidermy dragon head. I'm not asking you to take it with you, but if you can advise where I could send it or place it, that would be a good...
An address.
We just need to put a note on it.
Let me look at the official name of our home. It is the Summerdale Hill deed. Yep, Summerdale Hill.
Ah, right,
Summerdale.
that's just a little bit away from Exeter, isn't it?
Just outside.
Right, I'll see if the plane hunters are willing to let us send it over there. Probably would be better than sending it via courier, given its size. Though I don't think they'd look too kindly. I'll put that as part of the. I'll add that to their payment with the protection in the mines. That'd probably be the best idea.
It's probably safer anyway since something's going on around Exeter.
So I've heard. So she just kind of just begins muttering a bit under his breath. It's going to be that much good. Yeah, I'll add it all up later. The rest of you, what are your plans?
Fortune.
Yes, hello, I totally wasn't asleep. Hi, hello. What are we talking about?
What are you doing? We have to leave.
I could probably use a couple more supplies. Do we need any more food for the road? Do we still have enough of that?
I certainly have plenty. I know that Delson said that he needs potions, so does Valeth.
Alright, I'll go with those two to get potions.
No, we'll give you the money to get some. I have to go looking into some stuff, which includes the Dream Realm, as I so call it.
If you don't want to arouse attention, there is a place in the residential area. Clyde's Concoctions, I believe, is its name, ran by a gentleman called Clyde. That would probably be your best bet.
Poor Clyde doesn't know what's coming to get him.
Tess, do you want the other one of these? Do you want the other one?
Also, if there's any reagents in there.
It wasn't all of them, it was just so fat.
3
Oh, hey.
agents.
Oh, hey, the Dirt Child's going too.
Our son is going with me.
It's my son.
I did
He's
not
my
name that
son.
child.
I will fight you.
You want to fight me? I just got magic, buddy.
No, we're not using our strange magic that we don't know where it came from. Put your hands away.
You do realize I'm the one more skilled with magic here, right?
Yes, but I'm crazy.
You know, that's fair enough. You have a point there.
Alright,
Okay,
if
I'm
you two
done.
are done.
Okay, Dirt Child, I'm giving you 400 gold. I shall let you use this to get as many potions and strange free agents as you can find as possible.
Can you
While he's talking, can I cast...
400.
Can you cast what? What's that?
Can I cast Gust and knock his silverware off the table?
Oh my god.
Sure. Ghost
I
is
shall use
a...
Mage Hand to catch it.
Make a dex check.
Dex.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is your spell DC, Fortune?
15.
Nice.
You quickly conjure the mage hand. You're able to grab one of the forks, just between the thumb and finger, and the rest of it just falls.
Can you not break the silverware? It's very expensive. It costs more than probably anything you own.
Besides, you're untrained with magic, Fortune. Who knows what could happen?
Well, then we'll just have to practice on the road.
That
Oh,
would
boy.
probably be best.
I'll make sure I have some spells available to dispel anything weird.
Nemesis just looked at Nori like, you did this. I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
Why are you looking at me like that, sister?
Nothing. No reason.
Don't worry, this is how she looks at all of us.
You make it sound like I have not spent my entire life with her, Delson.
Don't. True.
Like, wait, shit, fuck.
It's like,
He's right.
wait, no, you right. You right.
Yeah.
You right. You right. At this point, Trofnog speaks up. Right, what if you ain't gonna be doing anything else outside of that? And then Norin speaks up. I happen to have a particular little job for you, Trofnar. Alright, let's hear it. You see, a little dragon told me that the other night a drunken idiot walked into our library and began pouring through the books, just opening them, reading them, and then throwing them on the ground. And on pages which caught their interest, ripping the pages out. I don't see your point. I wasn't finished. Not only that, but the little dragon told me that they were manhandled by this idiot and left a nice little mark on them, right below their eye. Similar to what has happened to you. You can just see Trofnar just kind of like, he's using what bits of his hair he can, just kind of like brush it over the mark. I'm going to make it very clear to you, Trofnar. The only reason why you have not been thrown in the jails yet is simply because you are a friend of my sister. However, that does not give you the right to spit in the face of my hospitality, nor treat me like scum. I don't say this as a noble, I just say this as a person. Therefore, I know exactly what you're going to be doing. And he just clicks his fingers, and a few seconds later, the door opens and you can see Zessa walk in, just kind of looking a little bit timid. So, Trofnar, here is what is going to happen today. You are going to spend the entire day seeing what these servants, the maids and the servants, go through in order to accommodate you and the rest of my guests. You will go through every room, you shall clean them, and if Zessa is not happy with what you do, I don't suppose you would mind if that keg had all of its liquid poured out, would you? I'm trying to say, you wouldn't fucking dare. You just see a smile just form.
I imagine that Nem and Nori have the same face right now.
Can I just give Trotnar just this stare of unbelievable disappointment?
Oh my god.
I'm sure you're aware of the reputation of my family. I'm sure that you have seen the way my sister has been to people involving threats. I can assure you that I am more than happy to carry it out. You watch as Trofnar begins to slowly reach to where his axe is at the side. And right before he gets to actually grab it, you see a blur of movement and a dagger actually lands, embeds itself in the table near his hand. He just, oh shit! A few seconds pass and then from the direction where it was thrown, there's Vincent. Sorry, buddy. But, can't let you do that.
Nice throw. What?
Well, thank you. Thank you. You can see, though, even though he's, being casual, he does have his hand on his sword, just in case. How long am I going to have to be doing this? Well, the entire process will probably take you the full day. But we'll consider ourselves even, so long as you promise not to spit in the face of my hospitality again. And yes, your ale will be fine. All right.
Only have to play nice for a day.
Oh, and as he walks away, Zessa kind of leading him along. He says out, Chofnar. Also, if you do a bad job, Zessa can get quite angry. Beyond words. You see the sort of like the colour sort of fade from Chofnar's face a little bit as he walks off. And as they walk away and get out of earshot, I think he bought the part about Zessa.
I think he's seen me cleaning, so
Well, I mean,
that's what he's imagining.
maybe. But, it's better if we tell her that Zessa is as harmless as a puppy.
One question, but would you support us actually making it a little bit harder on Trofnar?
Go on.
Like, what if we were to say, leave our dishes much more dirty than as expected, and perhaps when we go to the bath, maybe we were to mess with it slightly for him.
Normally I would say no, because I would put more work on poor Zessa, but since it's Trofnar... You see him just grab just like the glass of wine and just gently spill some on the tablecloth and place it down.
Face goes from like this smirk to like this horrible, like disgusted look. She hates messes. Oh my god.
Oh, you don't have to join in if you don't want to, sister.
Yeah, you don't.
Not for me. That makes me feel sick.
You don't. Delson says as he lets a little bit of the pipe he got spill out accidentally.
Nemesis like looks away at this point. Like making messes genuinely gives her anxiety.
I'm sorry, but Trothnar's just kind of been a dick to your family.
I'm very aware. It's just kind of ingrained in me not to do that.
I think it's less of a has been rude to the family, as I don't particularly care if he is rude to mother or father, though that will result in him being executed, no doubt. It's just to me and the staff.
Yes.
You mean Essie?
Essie especially.
Well,
You don't mess with them.
in a mess, maybe we can have that talk.
Yes, very well. The rest of you go about your business. You can see at this point Vincent just kind of reaches over, pulls the dagger out, and just checks it. What about this? I'll just blame it on somebody, I don't know. Or I'll blame it on you! Say that you stabbed at a piece of food too violently. See Vincent just kind of narrow his eyes, but you see he just quickly laugh and walk away. Alright, so, as you all vacate the room outside of Norium and Nemesis,
Can I request that we go to the secret channel?
of course,
Yay!
I shall move us over there. Yeah. Okay.
Alright. So, for one, I wanted to talk to you about what Nem's doing, but also I kind of wanted it to be a surprise.
Okay.
Alright.
Unless they watch this episode. Now
That's
running guys
true.
at the camera.
I think they'll figure it out once we have like the conversation and everything.
Alrighty.
Alright.
So, what is it that you wish to speak to me about then?
was just thinking about our family and everything, how what Mother's doing, kind of, once again, riding on my coattails. And seeing the city in a different light, kind of hammered in the fact that I'm not happy about any of this. I'm disgusted by our parents' behavior. And for a long time, I've been kind of afraid of confronting any of it, of actually taking the plunge and basically telling Mother to shove off. I feel like I should do something.
This is a bad position that we are in. I fully agree with you that Mother's attitude and her riding off what we achieve, what you achieve, is despicable, but at the same time, we are in a war environment. We can't shake up the nobles, lest we...
Would this be the perfect opportunity, though?
It would...
I'm not saying to start a full civil war or something, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'd be more use shutting Mom down in Jurahan than running around gallivanting. At least that's what it feels like sometimes.
I understand what you mean on that. And if I'm honest with you, I would be in full support of Mother and Father, at the most Mother, being, shall we say, let go from leader of the fallow family.
Is there a but?
There is a but in regards to this. If Mother were to step down, Father would simply take her place. And we know how much of a puppet Father is. In the event that both of them step down, it would fall to either me or you. And I mean no offense to either of us, but I feel we would run the entire fallow family into the ground. There's a reason we have a regent.
I disagree. I think we could do something, that we could be better. At least if we worked together.
Perhaps.
I was thinking of possibly trying to go to Jurahan, and I'm not sure if I would use the word usurp, but at least put Mother in her place.
Norm kind of leans back on this. You're essentially saying that you want to walk into the lion's den completely of your own free will.
I know it's not ideal, but right now I can't think of any other solution. At least not one that would stop Mother from gaining more power.
You see him like deep in thought for a few minutes. What if... You're aware of denouncing, yes? The noble families do this.
Yes, the girl that I sent to you before was denounced.
Yes. we may be able to do something like that, though it in itself is a gamble, though I would say a less gamble. Rather than walking into the lion's den and basically sealing your fate, what if we were to simply, either in a public statement or in a letter, for example, from yourself saying you denounce what Mother has done?
How can we be sure that a letter wouldn't just be stolen and caught by her?
Because she does not rule Johan. She has say in there, granted, but she cannot refuse it. Besides, I could simply send a message to one of the various peoples, or it could be discreetly sent through the Plain Hunters, though I don't know how they would feel with us abusing their services. Or you could simply make an announcement here in Ulmandow, either stating that you denounce Mother's actions, or, the nuclear option, rescinding your name to the fallow line. That is a nuclear option, but it also would be the most destructive, as Mother would then lose the pull of having someone blessed by the gods in her family.
What would that do to us, though?
Well, by blood, we would still be brother or sister, but essentially, you would no longer be a fallow noble. You would be, as Mother puts it, a commoner. Though, I guess if you're friends of the Rona family, that could turn you into a Rona noble, potentially. Though that would be something you would need to discuss with them.
I just...
It is a nuclear option, and rest assured that, for me, I would only be a fallow temporarily if you did that as well. If you were to do this, I too would renounce my fallow heritage, but I would stay just to see what little bit of information I could get.
You don't have to do that, Nori. I know that this is my battle.
You are my sister, and I would go to the ends of the earth to protect you. And to avoid Mother or Father even thinking of using me as leverage for you, I would be more than willing to turn my back on my family. Outside of yourself, of course.
I think the nuclear option is the best. It doesn't give her any leeway.
But are you sure you want to do this? If you do this, you will no longer be able to use your status as a fallow to get what it is that you want. You will essentially become a commoner until the Ronas decide if they wish to make you an honorary Rona family member.
I think it's the best decision.
You see him, like, wipe a tear that's gathered on the corner of his eye away.
Yeah, Nem's, like, crying.
But you see also a small smile. Perhaps this is for the best, with the heirs to the Fallow family no longer being a part of it. We essentially would end the Fallow family with the generation that they're in. This will run into the problem of finding a replacement. Noble family. The power vacuum will be great, but at the very least this would buy a couple of years before Mother and Father die, unless they adopt, which... If this is what you decided that you will do, then unfortunately I would have to say that you would not be able to enter the Fallow Manor once you do this.
I know.
So he just walks forward and just gives you a hug. Think on it for a little bit, either denouncing Mother or just rescinding your claim to the Fallow name. I'll support you best I can. And I shall be with you every step of the way.
Thank you, Nori.
Just kind of pulls back from the hub and just gives you a small peck on the cheek. I shall prepare the documentation for you then. Both of them, depending on which you go for.
Alright.
What will probably have to happen either way is, just so we can see exactly what happens, you may need to stay in Ulmandow for a few days for an official response from the Kingdom of Jurhan.
Which probably means that either one I choose, Mother will be alerted.
The second you make the announcement and word spreads to Jurhan, I'm certain that Mother and Father will come running. The Paladins also, but you see him just think for a second. Give me a second, I must call in a favour. His eyes sort of like flash with arcane energy. Pauses for a few seconds so he thinks of his words. Quan, it's Norium. I need you at the manor. Now. Ends it. I went into Quan a few weeks back. Helped him out through a bit of a rough spot after he lost his title. I know you don't like him, but as he is no longer affiliated with the Paladins, I am going to assign him, after today, as your bodyguard until you leave Ulmandow. The Paladins wouldn't dare go near him.
Quan and I had some understanding a little while ago.
You see his eyes sort of like flick to the side as it seems Quan responds to the message. Eyes flash again. It is Nemesis. I need you to look after her for a few days. Bit of pause. He will be here by this evening.
Thank you.
In my study, you'll find the necessary parchment to write your rescindant of the fallow name. And I'll also... You also found out. I will need your statement of pedigree as well.
I understand. MC takes out her scroll of pedigree.
Mm-hmm. Takes it, and he just pockets it away. You're free to stay here for tonight. Afterwards, I will hope that Quan will be able to find appropriate accommodation for the few days. Once we have an answer, you'll be free to leave Ulmandow and continue on after your friends, wherever they may go.
I will have to explain to them that what I'm doing is for the best. God, it's hard for me to speak. I'm crying right now.
Yeah. You can see as well, Norium's also like just holding back tears.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. The name doesn't matter to me, Nemesis. You are my sister. You will always be my sister. Kind of like just brushes some of your hair out for your eyes. And I've never been so proud of you.
I love you, Nori.
He just gives you another hug. As he like steps back, he just
Hugs him back tightly.
yeah. And you just say, like that for about a minute or so before he pulls back. I will ensure the necessary preparations are made. I will, as I say, if you go to my study, there will be parchment and ink and quills galore for you to take the time that you need to write what you need to.
All right.
Outside of that, I'm going to make today absolute hell for Trofnar.
He deserves it.
He does, after what he did to Essie. Very well. Even though I will be denouncing it as well soon after yourself, I am a fellow. We're known for being absolute bastards. Alright. Back to the normal chats!
Oh god.
Yay!
Who has like a base 185 strength.
185 strength, that's impressive. Also, we're back from that.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Basically, that means it has like, at level 100, its strength, its attack is like around 400 something, 500.
Oh, Pokemon's got it. Alright,
Yeah.
so...
Evolving, and I just want to catch a picture of a Wailord.
So,
who's going
sort of-
first on what they're doing?
I volunteer to go and do the research.
Okay, the
I
two of
am
you are
the
doing
most basic
research.
Yep, and V said he would give me advantage.
Alrighty. So, what is it that you're specifically searching for?
For like, I am searching for stuff about dreams and how people could use them to protect themselves
Okay,
while dreaming.
go ahead and make an investigation check.
Yep. Well, that's consistent.
21. Okay. The Fallow family is, while they're religious, they're not super into things like dreams and such, but you are able to find a few books. A lot of your initial searching, it's just books about, like, what dreams might mean, like those kind of, like, this kind of dream, it means you got more of this kind of stuff. But then you start running into ones that appear to involve almost like having control over your dreams to the extent of they can protect you from invading forces. The knowledge itself is more arcane than like just general. It appears that those that are more arcane inclined are more capable of protecting themselves from invading dreams. You also see various books about essentially almost like uniform nightmares that happen, though these are reference to things that happened many, many years ago. In terms of like any actual definitive guide of like protecting yourself in dreams, there isn't a lot of discussion of it because from what you can tell, either the Fallows aren't really interested in it with their library stuff, or it's a relatively unexplored area.
Interesting. The uniform nightmare stuff also piqued my interest a bit.
Make a history check with that one.
Okay. Yeah, that put back to normal, so...
Yeah, this would just be a regular history check for yourself. 20, okay.
Well then!
You kind of think back. It doesn't necessarily show it, like, how long back it is, but it does kind of line up in terms of timeline to just around either during or after the period known as the Dark. And you do see, like, it mentions it on a few more occasions, but predominantly it's like it started around this time and then occasionally manifested itself.
Strange. So if this might be happening, they need to try and find someone who has extensive knowledge of the ancient past. I shall take out my journal and record this information.
Alright.
Recording all of this info.
Alrighty. Actually, because you actually rolled that high in your history check, I would say that, and with your investigation as well, since you're primarily focusing on like this period of, consistent like nightmares, the last point that you can see where it is mentioned in all the books is an era known as the Second Age of Prosperity, which was about anywhere between 1400 years ago to just under 900. You don't know much about the Second Age of Prosperity, as it appears to be a Johanian-related one, not a Narsian one.
I'll have to ask around, see who knows about the Second Age of Prosperity then.
Yeah. Though you do know that it is somewhat recent, as it is during the current era, which is called the Allure era. And just as a lore explanation for people, the era before that was known as the Darun era.
I wonder... I'm going to look to Bella.
Yes, Dulcin.
Do you think that there's any era, or not era, but any area with people who may have lived many a lifetime within their one own?
No, that sounds very interesting, Gopher. I don't know. Do I know what the fuck Dulcin is talking about?
Make a history check.
Big? Yeah, I can do that.
Big rolls. Big brain rolls.
Actually, not the worst
19.
roll. In fact, it was the best.
So, you know of the Allure era, because it's the era that they're currently in. However, as for those that may have lived that far back, you know that the only thing, and this is from your talks with your mentor, not Room, your other mentor. Yes, and just general knowledge that the only ones that may have lived that long would be either archdruids or elves.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Delson, but without some sort of magic, maybe elves. Do you know where do the elves live again? We have elves and
So, I would say, because even though you're from Platinum Hold specifically, obviously you've seen elves before.
yeah, exactly.
And because you rolled a 19 on your history, I'll also say as well that the majority of elves...
Oh, right. No, right.
Yeah, the majority of elves live in Elvengrow, which it has significance to the elves, but I would say because of where you come from and lived in the Dwarven era, you're not too sure why that has such... it has something because a lot of the older elves talk about it. but you're not sure why it's important. You'd probably have to do some research onto that one.
You have to do some research, or we're right there. You know what I mean? Like we're right here. I don't know. What was our plan? What was our actual like? We had a list of what we were gonna do at some point, and there was a whole bunch of stuff. I do not remember. We could go. We could go and see the elves. They're just nearby in Elven Grove. See if there's anyone there that was perhaps around during that time.
Maybe after we go on your little journey and wherever Fafnir needs to go, because I don't think he would be too keen on us going on this, as he thinks, side issue.
This is something that is once again on our list of things to do. So, so we are headed to Mithril-Hammer next. Though I found I'm looking at my Book of Shadows, and I'm like, yes.
I'll just throw the map up for you guys.
Though it was Ulmandow, then Underrook, then Mithril-Hammer is what we thought we were going to do. So Underrook would be next.
Yes.
I think that is the plan.
I do have
Yes.
I do have a question to you, though.
Of course.
You mentioned that you have dreams, right?
Occasionally. I do. I enjoy exploring the realm of dreams. It's somewhere I can go to better myself and come to peace with things.
Of course. But are there anything in particular that might have been puzzling? Maybe I could try and help decipher them through the power of deduction.
Perhaps there would be a way for us to use some of the magic that we both have available to us to induce some sort of shared experience.
Maybe, but right now we need to learn how to protect ourselves first.
Even simply being aware of each other and what is happening in the same shared consciousness almost, we would be much more safe if we did that.
Potentially.
But you are right. There are forces lurking in the realm of dreams that will not be kind to us, and I'm afraid I'm not as skilled as I would like to be in this regard.
Nor am I. Especially if my traveling could invite it into the dreams of others that I care about.
Yes, exactly. We will put targets on the backs of those around us.
Makes me worry that I've already painted one on Callan.
Yes. It'll be all right, Delson. Know this. I am truly as much as some of you may not believe me, I believe that my intentions are good.
I know that you believe we are.
I want to help you and everybody with what they need.
I know. You have a good heart deep down. I just don't know though if my meddling brought harm to Callan, though. I don't think I would be able to forgive myself, because she's special to me, honestly. Really special. We've basically known each other and grown up together our entire lives, so if I let something happen to her, it'd be like I were to have stabbed her myself, so to speak. I'm sorry, I'm getting fucking carried away.
It's okay, Dustin.
That's fine.
Let's continue looking.
Yes, let's.
Wait for the others to return. I hope they found what they were looking for.
As do I, and
Star Wars transition. Where they're just-
Well, are you like looking for more stuff, or is that just what you're sticking
Well,
with?
was that what like most of today's research? If we could do more, obviously we would do more. But
Depends.
we would.
What is it? What else is it that you would be looking for? And I'll be able to see if it's something.
let's see. Is there anything that I would be if we did something that was Delson could help me?
Yeah, I would
research
help
something,
him look into something
but,
too. So, Valith, thanks for listening. You're a good friend.
Of course, Delson. I think that the thing that I do is, obviously we're just doing the what Delson researched was the aspects of like dreams and when that sort of magic was being used. I want to focus more on the arcane side of things and maybe delve into the spiritual, almost like natural aspects of it, and try to find maybe something that could be a solution to having a shared dream, or if, maybe just an answer. You know what I mean? Like, if we both just cast the spell at the same time, can we somehow do that together? And then, or what? Maybe we have to make some sort of tea or something like that. But I don't know what. I don't know any of that stuff.
I mean, we
That's my
could also.
starting point.
That would be more of an Arcana check.
More of an Arcana check, sure.
Yeah.
We could have also looked into your orb.
I could look into my orb. No, that thing's dangerous. That's where that
Yeah.
thing. Volith is sort of wigged out by the orb.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
gonna suck his
Yeah,
it's
look.
gonna suck his brain in. Yeah. Okay. I rolled a 10.
10. You're not too sure.
I
guess
will
I have
go.
advantage because we were.
Actually,
doing that
let me see what my Arcana is +2. So should I roll?
Yeah, you could
Let's see.
if you'd allow that tick.
Yeah, I'd allow it. The DC would be a bit higher, but I'd allow it.
Come on.
There we go.
8. Yeah, no,
I don't think it will get.
you're not too sure what would happen if two people were to cast a dream at the same time. For simultaneous use.
And like together on like the same person, for example, because I don't know, the aspects of it. It's interesting to try to think about. Is like, are we like inhabiting their dreams? Is it like a shared world that we all go to?
Yeah, you're not too sure, man.
Because Volith has got an even weirder understanding of what's going on, because he thinks that even the real world is part of that world to some extent, and so yeah.
All right. So we'll
It's
say.
a problem when the smart person can't really figure out something.
Yeah. We'll say that would probably take the majority of it, like up to late afternoon. So we'll say that's all the stuff that you guys did during most of your day.
Yeah.
Obviously, Trofnar is being led around all over the place, being told to clean stuff up. Zessa is looking over at him all the time, like a stern teacher.
I do find it funny that our solution to like, oh, we need to smarten up Trofnar is we need to all do exactly what Trofnar did and wreck the place so that he has to clean it.
Square the fuck up. Oh.
I guess so.
I mean, obviously, you're not doing it where he can see it, but
Yeah, no, but we're just like leaving messes, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Actually, can I like take down like Draper Bannister or something?
Well,
Try and make it hang it up.
well, you can do that, but as you try doing it in the library, Norim does take his hand and says, "Just so you know, Trofnar's barred from the library, so please keep this clean if you're going to make a mess of things."
Oh. Okay. Yep.
Oh, if you're going for a
Just call-
banister, one of the guest rooms hasn't been cleaned yet, so use that one. He just goes back to what he's doing.
Great idea.
Him his own medicine.
Yeah.
Yep.
So intermittently, like whenever you go for a bathroom break and such, you kind of just cause a bit of a mess here and there. All right.
We're trolling him.
Yep. And you do hear the occasional just angry dwarven word being heard. All right.
Just like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yep. All right. So if that's the case,
Sits back and drinks wine.
Gratian and Fortune.
Yes.
You are going to the potion shop, I assume?
Yes.
Alrighty, so Vincent gives you directions of where Clyde's concoctions are. It's actually relatively close to the Gilded Circle, but it's still in the residential area.
Okay.
So you make your way down there. The building itself is like it's showing like wear and tear, but it's still presentable. Like it could do with a touch up here and there. Some of the wooden like beams for the roof are showing a bit of sign of rot and such. Some of the shingles on the roof aren't there, and there is moss like growing on the stone walls and such. But it's mostly presentable.
Mm-hmm.
As you enter into the building, it is actually rather spacious. There's not a lot of shelves here, and what shelves are don't actually have a lot of various potions and such. It's mostly like empty vials and such. At the far end, you can see the counter, of which a human male is sort of standing there watching you come in. He looks to be in his mid-40s, with like dark brown eyes. He's completely bald on the top of his head, but you do see he has sort of a bushy blonde beard. He's wearing just a standard tunic and such, and he just watches as you walk in and approach the counter. Hello.
Hi. Do you have any health potions left for sale? Perhaps?
Oh, I got a few health potions, yeah. Got some regular healing potions, and I got 2 greater ones too.
Okay, how much would it be for everything?
You see, he like kind of like chokes a bit. It's like, oh, so that would be He starts adding it up, and this is totally not me also adding it up. So for both of the greater potions, that'd be 480 gold. If you're going for just the regular healing potions, that would be 220. So that would be 700 gold for all of it.
I slide him the gold.
You see him just like, he looked down at the pouch for a second, just completely stunned. Right. He just slowly grabs it. He then reaches under and pulls out a satchel. So like turns it to face you and opens the front of it up. And you can see 4 regular healing potions and 2 greater healing potions.
And you said that was 700 gold, right?
Yes. I'm just making
Okay.
sure I added it up myself. 240, that's 480. Yeah, so 480 for that. And then 2, 6, yep, 700. I just like beckons to the shelves with the empty vials. I don't have anything at the moment. I got some potions brewing, but they're not going to be done for another few days.
Gratian, was there anything that you wanted to buy from here?
He asked if there was any other potions.
Yeah, which he's answered that unfortunately they don't. He's got some that are brewing, but they're not ready.
Yes, I'll ask for the reagents.
reagents. I'm not good with big words.
Basically, the
The stuff you need
ingredients.
to make potions. You know, like the Eye of Newt, the whatever, the
Oh, right.
Yep.
raw supplies.
I mean, I got a lot of raw supplies. It's the supply issue's not an issue. It's just potions take a while to make. So I do have some of that. Like, what is it that you're looking for? Hey now, Delson. Does Gratian not know? If Gratian doesn't know.
Whispers.
Delson.
I is whispering.
This is
to
He
him.
can
I don't wanna-
technically ask via the bracelet, can't he? Or are we not within range?
Not within range.
What's the distance? It's like a couple miles.
No, it's like 100 feet.
Oh, it's at 100 feet. It's the.
The orbs are like a mile.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
We don't know anything. A video game.
Okay, yeah, the like max range is 300 feet, but it's like static.
Yeah, 300 feet, but you have to yell into it. You're alright. I mean, the thing is that I got more of some than the other. If you can say, like, what kind of potions you're thinking of, that can probably be arranged a bit better. Delson, you're not there.
Yep.
Strength.
Yeah, like there's one thing that I can think of that I know that I would be curious about, but I'm not gonna say shit.
I might have enough for, he just kind of like reaches under and pulls out a very small vial. It's mostly empty, but you can see that inside it are some very large toenails. Got these giant toenails for potion of giant strength. It's, just looks at it again. Oh shit, this is stone giant strength. I need to remind myself of the cost of the actual potion, because I know it would be half of that. Let me just see here. Stone is that, which would be that would be about 450 gold for that'll get you one stone giant strength, like the ingredients for it. All right, he hands you the vial with the giant's toenail in it. So go ahead and mark 450 gold off. You're just there. Clyde looks generally impressed that that people are spending this much coin. You get the feeling that he doesn't get this much coin normally. Right, anything else that you need from me? I can't admit I'm sorry that I don't have a whole lot more here. But, you know, with the paladins and the plane hunters and the Lord's Guard and the war and such, I'm a bit short on everything.
Got anything odd or interesting left?
Define odd or interesting.
I don't know. Surprise me.
Fortune just like points at herself.
She like reaches down and pulls out. It appears to be like frosted glass, but as he like places the vial down and like opens up, you see like essentially, you know when it's like something's really cold and it meets a hot thing and it basically steams everything up. It's like that.
Ooh.
And you look inside and it's a very very small, like almost like it looks like a blueberry. So, this was sold to me.
The forbidden good berry.
There were several of them in there, and I've tried using them for stuff, and I can't make them work on anything.
And this is your last one?
God damn it, Peach. Making the reference to my friend stuff. It's my last one, and I'd rather it not waste several of my potion stuff.
This is the time where we all just go ape on him.
Going murder holder? Okay, let me pull up that bounty hunter list in the Omegas.
Nah, we're kidding.
I know, it's just making a reference to what I said at the start of all this.
Cowabunga it is then.
Yee, and I say this with most emphasis, ha. Yeah, it's my last one. I don't know what it does. I'll give it to you for 5 gold.
2 gold. We don't know what it does.
Make a persuasion check. With advantage. Because you gave him a fuck ton of gold just now. 20.
Nice.
Fair enough. He just passes it to you as you hand him 2 gold.
Thank you.
As he tried eating it.
Yeah, he puts it in the he just puts the last bits in. Right, with what little I got, is there anything else that you need or want?
No, I think we're good for now.
Alrighty, if you come back in a few days, I should have a handful of potions still available.
Fortune just leans over the counter and pats him on the cheek. If we're still alive, we'll see you then.
And as you just walk out, you just hear him go, "What?"
The real question is Clive the same as the apothecary?
You are going to keep mocking me about the fact that I can't pronounce that word very well, aren't you?
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No, you pronounced it well earlier.
Apothecary.
Apothecary.
I thought you were making a potion seller joke.
No, I'm honestly... No, this is an honest question.
Then I don't know what you mean.
You said that there
Is
might
he
be
the
somebody
apothecary?
He is, yes.
Yes, thank you.
It is a potion store called Clyde's Concoctions, and the owner is Clyde.
I
What is
was
the most
Thing.
simple-
Owner of the potion
his
store, Clyde's
concoction.
Concoctions.
An owner, a man named Clyde makes concoctions and owns a store named Clyde's Concoctions.
Is he the apothecary of this place?
Is he the horseman?
Nah, that's Larkin.
Alright.
You have to tell me if you're the foreman.
Dude, well,
If I ask, you have to tell me.
I'm sorry. Also, Bella's ahead of time. If we're still here tomorrow, I am saying that I'm sorry, but I have something else planned.
What?
If it's going to be our last day in the city tomorrow, well, Delson gotta do what Delson does.
What? Go get drunk? Find a lady to be
I have to
awkward around.
go and find the wench.
Okay.
And then hopelessly fail.
And then go.
Yep.
Yeah. And then go. "Ee."
It is time.
It'd be like that ASCF movie skit where it's like, "Hey, are you an angel? Because I'm allergic to feathers."
Basically, we have failed once. We must fail again. Literally, Delson.
All
All
right.
right. So, if that is the case, yeah, because we're down people because obviously Trufnar and Sav and such. Okay, so I would say because unless you guys are, unless you Gratian and Fortune, unless you two are doing anything, I would assume you head back immediately afterwards back to the manor. Or is there anything else that you're doing?
Click, 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 click.
Typity, typity, type.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we'll say for the sake of it then that the two of you return. It's only the same as early. It's only early afternoon at this point, because you just went to get potions and such. So if there's anything that you want to do in the manor for the rest of the afternoon with you two, then you're free to say. Same thing
I
with you, Nemesis.
specifically want to fuck up everything that Trofnar is doing.
Okay. You are directed to areas which Trofnar hasn't cleaned, which, to be fair, he's actually cleaned quite a bit of it, but he's nowhere near done still. But Vincent and Norium kind of point you to the various bits that haven't been cleaned yet. This is going to be so funny to tell Ed afterwards.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, you got roasted for your actions, and also we made your life living hell.
Yeah, you got forced to clean the entire household under threat of 1, jail time, and 2, your ale being destroyed. So outside of the little thing that you were talking about, Nemesis, is there anything else that you wish to do? Because that wouldn't take all day.
I think this kind of has something to do with my
Plan.
thing that I talked about. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna go to my room and essentially like find anything of like sentiment that I can take with me, because this is not gonna go down well.
Okay. So, yeah, we could say that's what you do. You spend taking, things that mean stuff to you. A lot of it is like valuables and such, but some of them are mundane things, like a small drawing that Norium had made when you were both kids, or a few awards that you got for things that you did without your mother forcing you and such. You've got stuff that you're able to collect.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and I guess I'll put it with the taxidermied head.
The head is
like be moved.
It has not been moved. When you ask about
like just like mark it down to be put to be taken to Summerdale.
Yeah.
Stop it in the mouth.
Oh God.
All right. You do ask like Vincent where it's gone. He basically guides you to it and such.
Yeah. All right. And then I guess I'll wait for the rest of you because I have things to talk about.
Okay. So you make your way. We'll say for the sake of things that dinner comes by. Oh God, I'm worried that now we should be fine, even on time wise stuff. All right. So lunch comes by. You all eat your meals outside of Trafnar. When you ask, because he isn't even there, he says, "Oh yes, servants and maids eat their dinner after the guests."
Man, holy crap, that's awesome.
The days it's just an assortment of meat and veg.
Like as Nem's eating, like you can see her starting to like tear up with the food in her mouth.
At one point, Noram just kind of like stops eating and so like reaches over and just places his hand on top of yours.
What's going on with you, Nem?
Well, I suppose I have to tell you at some point. She's like trying to like hold back her tears. She's like looking up at the ceiling thinking it'll help.
If you need a minute, that's fine. Let me just quickly check something. His eyes flash again. How soon are you going to arrive here? Eyes flash again. He'll be here in a few minutes.
Alright, I'll wait for him to arrive to explain.
Alright. You continue to eat in silence a bit more. There's a pause from Norium. Eyes flash again. Trafnar, get into the dining room. I think this is something you might want to hear as well. Flash. You hear audibly from a little bit away, like Trofnar just yelling, and you see like Norium wince a bit. You know, I was expecting that, but I wasn't expecting him to be that loud. A few seconds later, the door opens and you can see a very, like, profusely sweating, very tired out Trofnar. And he just kind of, like, walks over to the table, like, sits down and just has his arms crossed, just staring dags at Norium. We are waiting for a guest, first and foremost, as... Well, this is not a business of the god's headache. It may have some effect. You wait a few minutes before there's a knock at the door. The door opens, and as you turn around, you can see a familiar individual. But gone is the plate mail armor. Gone is the like the well cut like hair and such. But standing in front of you, now clad in still rather fancy but much less grand chainmail armor, is Quan. He just kind of walks by everyone, sort of like looks at everyone. I see we meet again. Norium, I arrived as soon as I could. He just notices you, says, Nemesis. Just gives a slight nod.
Nem is still crying at this point. She just kind of nods quietly.
Wait. Why is the Grand Master here?
I'm not a Grand Paladin anymore.
We've heard, but in our eyes, you're still well deserving of that title.
The Paladins of Tyr did not share the same resentment. No, I'm here for a different reason, and it is nothing to do with the Paladins. It is, but nothing you could consider bad.
Well, I'm grateful that you came here at my brother's request.
He just nods and just kind of like stands to attention as he waits.
So, I spoke to Norium this morning, and after some deliberation and deciding on essentially what to do with my parents in the situation that's been brought up, how Mother has been still using me to her advantage, and the fact that we've been attacked by people who have been trying to get me back. It's just not something that I'm okay with, and not something that I can stand for any longer. I will be renouncing my title as a Thallow. I will no longer be a noble, and I will not be allowed in the Thallow estate after I do so. I have to stay here for a few days while it's being recognized, and I'm sure that after I do so, Mother and Father will come here and, well, I'll have to see how that goes. But God, someone make me stop talking.
Norin kind of leans back a bit. Keep in mind as well that with Nemesis doing this, I too am planning to rescind my claim to the Fallow noble family. But not yet. For now, I will remain as a Fallow to, shall we say, see how things play out.
We understand. In that case, we'll stick right by here too.
No, I want you all to leave.
What?
I don't know what's going to happen when I do so. I know that I'll be considered a commoner, and I won't have any more leeway. I don't want you all involved in that.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. Doesn't matter if you're a Thallow or just plain Nemesis.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that my family is going to come here, and if you're all involved and they think that you are the ones causing me to do this, you will be punished. I'm not risking any of you. I want you all to continue with your plans and move on. When I can, I will catch up with you.
Very well.
It will only be a few days. It is less of a imminent threat that may happen, and more of a case of waiting for it to be made official. Once it's made official, and Nemesis has the documentation proving that, then she'll be able to rejoin you all. This is merely a case of not halting in your quest, shall we say. And that's where Quan comes in. Just nods to Quan. I've assigned him to look after Nemesis to ensure the Paladins of Tyr don't try any funny business. Gemma and Vincent also have agreed to keep an eye on things, and should I have to leave the Fallow family, Zessa has agreed to be our person on the inside, shall we say.
I still think you shouldn't have to leave because of me.
Then don't think I'm leaving because of you. Think of it that I'm leaving due to the years of neglect that Mother and Father gave me, always pushing me aside so that you could have everything. If that makes you feel better, then you can use that as my reason for why I will be rescinding it.
I think that actually makes me feel worse.
Then go with the fact that it's because I love you as my sister. Then you can see he has a very, like, sincere smile when he says it.
This is very difficult for me, but I hope that you all listen for once. And just let me sort it out.
Looks like we're not going to have much of a choice but to. But with that being said, here, I'm going to take out the magic chalk. And I'm going to make a copy of the sigils for her. In case something goes south. You have the sending scrolls, right?
Yes, I do.
Let us know which place you're going to.
Well,
And use these to get out.
It will likely be Exeter. I feel that if something does go wrong, that's where I'll be safest.
Of course. And we'll do our best to meet up with you when we can.
Make sure that everyone stays out of trouble.
I'll do my best.
Fortune,
Yes.
don't cause problems while I'm gone.
I promise I won't cause trouble while you're gone.
Thank you. Alright, now that I feel like throwing up.
If this will make you feel any better, Nemesis, shall we say I twisted the knife a little bit? He kind of pulls out several rolls of parchment, and as he, like, shows them to him, you can see each one is the deed of ownership for every one of your own horses, and you can see that the location where they're assigned is Summerdale.
We're going to have to make a little acre for horses, aren't we?
I'm sure I could get that
It's
arranged.
like full on, like, just a waterfall of tears now.
I'm sure I can get that arranged. I will need some time before I can send a message over to the Roners.
And if you do, could you also specifically send a message to Neri from us to say not to eat the horses?
I know who that is, but I've never met that person.
She'll know us.
Yes, but it's going to be difficult for me to do that, and I only have 25 words per casting.
Of course.
It's fine, we'll send a real letter. You're just so great, and I love you so much.
Is this what they call the Brocon?
Oh my god, if one of you makes that joke again, I'm gonna punch you. Like, why can't she have a nice relationship with her brother?
Because it just increases the shipping.
Oh my god.
For what it's worth, I am perfectly fine with utterly ruining our family. Well, former family, once I rescind. And you know, the commoner life might be good.
And hey, if there's anything we could do to help with ruining them, just let us know.
You know, there could be something.
Oh, please do tell.
Well, it's not that. It's just... I would like a bit of confirmation if you could do it before you leave. Either tonight or the day that you do leave. I've heard rumors of, and this is quite common among every city, but I've heard rumors of a political group that seeks to reform the Fallow family. This is just
so?
This is just a rumor by a certain person that is most definitely not employed, who mayhaps did not be involved with, and you just see him just look over at Vincent, and he's just like, okay, all right. Yeah, so some of my barmates were talking about a group of people that kind of want to cause change here. Before you get the wrong idea, this is not like, I don't think they can do shit right now. It's just a group of people that came together, and it's like, we don't like this.
We will keep our eyes and ears up for them, and given time, perhaps we shall lend some aid.
Well, let's
so to speak.
let's wait until after all this goes, because I feel if we were to try anything in the absolute sea of rage that Mother would be feeling, I don't think it would go well for them.
Oh, definitely not. Best to just wait. Oh,
Something very drastic.
and then when the time is right, well, we'll see what happens.
Well, we need to see if they're even capable of such things. If it's a group of 5 people just saying that they don't like how the Fallows are running things, then there's no point even thinking of anything like that.
Mm-hmm. They'll definitely need arms and structure and many things. You can just see that Delson has a big smile on his face. Like, he has ideas in his mind. It's just whether or not they can do them.
Yes, well, I suppose that's some good news on top of, well, to hopefully cover a bit of bad news.
It is. So, perhaps tomorrow will be our last preparation before we take off.
I would say so. Nemesis' Renouncement has yet to be confirmed. Until then, technically, she is still free to stay here. However, I would rather not put that at risk. I'd rather her be someplace less conspicuous.
Where do you recommend I go?
At this point, he just, like, looks up to Quan, who kind of, like, steps forward a bit. I've, arranged for some bedding. Temporary, mind you. It is the Workers' Arms. Run down, but until I can find a room available at a higher up inn, that would be the best place to look. I would have suggested the padded pillow, but that'd be too obvious.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I'm certain I'll be able to find a room available at a better establishment. However, I just arrived in the city but an hour or so ago.
Where were you beforehand?
I was traveling.
You'll have to catch me up to speed while we get reacquainted for the next few days.
There won't be much to be reacquainted by. I can summarize it here. I was thrown out, I decided to do some mercenary work, ended up getting onto the wrong end of a fight, Norium saved me, and thus I continued doing mercenary work until just now.
Norium saved you.
Norium speaks up. Yes, he accidentally killed a wild game that was protected. under our family, and I pardoned him for it.
I see. Alright.
The punishment would be death.
Accidentally?
I'm not questioning whether what Quam did was due to desperation or just out of spite. Both work for me.
I asked Kitty by me.
Nice.
Hi, Kitty. How are you, Cat?
Alright. While you guys are getting ready to leave, Vincent, I'd like you to tell me more about this group and what you know.
Oh, I don't know anything about what I just told you.
Alright, then find out something.
You know, normally I would say because you were sending your title that you couldn't tell me what to do, but sure.
Thank you. I'm hoping something comes of it. Part of me wants to see this place burned to the ground.
That would be a bit excessive.
That's why I said part of me.
I mean, that will still... I'm aware that we are very, very, very early on talking about this, but the one thing we also need to worry about is what will happen after the fellows are gone.
I realized that, and I know that you've mentioned the Ronas. Part of me wants to gain power on my own and try to figure out a way to fix this.
He's just, you can see Norin deep in thought. If I had to hazard a guess, if they have to step down, then, and they have no other heirs, then they would probably use father's noble line.
Do you know anything about them?
The Villants?
Or where they might be?
No, they are centered around Delcross, but oftentimes they move about because they're military focused. I don't know much about them, though. You remember Mother doesn't like us talking about them.
Yes, and I wonder if there's a reason for that.
If you can find one, then maybe ask them yourself.
Maybe there's a part of our family that isn't awful. We
From-
can hold out hope.
Well, from what I've heard, the Villants are decent folk.
Alright. I'll keep an eye out then and see what I can do from there.
You just see Norim just kind of like deep in thought again. Zessa? Zessa kind of like peeks her head in. Get Trufnar some food. Just nods. We'll consider the debt repaid, Trufnar, given that you won't be allowed back in here after today. He just grumbles.
Yeah, you guys won't have my protection anymore here.
Honestly, I will miss the library, but oh well. I can probably go put my studies into something else.
I wonder if we have anything about Father's family tree in here.
I did see a book about it a few years ago. We could probably try searching for that.
Alright, that might be a lead.
Very well then. If that's the case, he just places his glass down. I suppose I'll get a start on that, given there's limited time.
Yeah, Nem, gets up with him.
If you're going to be doing anything for the rest of the afternoon and evening, then I hope you're successful. And I shall see you all off in the morning.
And with that,
Quan, you're free to stay in one of the guest bedrooms for tonight. Just nods his head and heads off.
Hopefully it's one of the ones that was clean.
with that, I will take my leave, and with any luck, I probably won't be back here tonight.
Well, you're still free to spend the night here. It's just that this will be the last night you would be able to.
It's for reasons.
Unless you were formally invited, of course.
Oh god.
Yes.
I won't be able to take a bath in the bathhouse anymore.
Well, princess, might as well make it last while it can. Fortune, why don't you go along with her?
Yep.
As for the rest of us, well, it's not much, but Nemesis. I shall leave with her all my crossbow bolts and Evelyn's crossbow. Till we meet again one day. Because you seem to have some problems when it comes to distance.
I'm not sure what that means, but thank you.
This is when we leave Nemesis, and then we go to the next town, and then she shows up, portals in from the future with like a metal arm and the crossbow's a gun, and it's like,
Yeah. She has become a sharpshooter.
As you pass over and it's like mentioning about like having trouble distance, Vincent's there just like, I can use a look after her. I know how to use a bow.
I actually know how to use that. Actually, could I have
Can
that?
you actually teach her how to use a crossbow then?
I know how to use a bow.
Damn. Unfortunately, I don't have a spare one of those.
Oh my god, you guys are idiots.
Yes, we are.
All right.
Dem kind of shakes her head. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I guess do research into Nem's father's side of the family.
Okay. So, go ahead. What's everyone else doing as well? It's about late afternoon at this point, so you can still do stuff before you call it good and go to bed.
Delson is off to seduce the locals.
Oh my god.
It's time to put the
I'll
persuasion
come
to
along with
use.
that. I'll come along with Delson.
Fair,
Me and
let's
the
get into
boys.
action.
Guys, don't get in trouble. Immediately goes to the bar to get in trouble.
All right.
It's not getting in trouble, it's getting late.
What about everyone else? Which would be basically Dirtchild and Fortune.
The dirtiest.
Since it's our last bit of time, you want to do some crime?
Oh god.
And
Nem
the
is
dirt child
Nem was
would-
literally just like, I can't protect you anymore. Want to do crime?
Yeah, Dirtchild also said he was going to go with Delson.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was going
Yeah.
with us. So
Oh yeah. Fortune's just gonna stroll through town.
just hang out.
May or may not do crime. I don't know.
For a moment, I thought she was going to just, stay with Nemesis.
Okay, so you're just gonna have a look around the town.
Yes.
You know what? Let's make this fun. Make an investigation check. See if you can find
Hey.
anything interesting in town.
You guys scare me.
12.
Good.
I don't think I'll ever be able to control, not Fortune, but Anna in general.
Yeah.
Because I am man, and she does not listen to
Okay.
the voice of the twinks.
All right. So you have a walk about town. A lot of it is like very run down and such, but then you find a small section, like it's like basically a block of houses that's completely empty and appear to have been empty for some time. You see a few small houses. There's one house that you see, which is like the biggest of the houses, is like this 2-story one with part of the wall already caved in. It is odd to see just this place randomly abandoned.
I know I just did an investigation roll, but can I go check these places out?
Sure, go ahead and make another investigation check. 12. Okay. Thank God anything interesting for here is a low DC. So, you check about several... a lot of the smaller houses are locked. Well, basically all of them are locked. They're also quite heavily rotted and such, and you could probably potentially like either pick your lock in or break it through. Like every single one of these small houses, it's just locked door, locked door. The 2-story house, you check, it's like front door's locked. You check to the side, and you see there's a bit down leading to a basement, also locked.
Can I try and pick the lock for that?
Okay, so it's a dex check plus your... Are you proficient in thieves' tools?
I believe so. Yes, as a rogue.
And you've got thieves' tools on you, yeah?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and make a check with your thieves' tools. It would be dex, and you are proficient in thieves' tools because you're a rogue. Oh!
Hey!
So you just quickly, like, put in the, like, you just pick the lock very quickly, like, look around quickly, and just quick fiddle, and... Doors open.
Let's go into the basement.
Okay, so you go into the basement. It is a mess in there. There is mud and debris on the ground. You can see there's several shells that have just fallen off. You can even see a larder in the corner that's just collapsed in on itself. This is, for all intents and purposes, fucked.
Anything salvageable?
Make another investigation check.
I almost clicked intimidation. I'm gonna intimidate something to be good.
You intimidate the darkness. Jesus, you are rolling high on now all of a sudden.
I am. It's the useless things that I do good at.
So you start checking about and start like brushing away at some of the dirt, seeing if you can find anything. You do see a few loose coins. There's only about 8 copper though. It's like literally like just small bits of change. And then you start examining like the shells and the larder and such. And when you look at the larder, you can see some of the dirt's been brushed away here already. And you start shifting it around, and you can see just sort of, it's because you rolled so fucking high, you saw it. You can see a slight little, like, solid bump, and as you sort of, like, brush away at it, you can see it's a trapdoor under where the larder is.
Down we go.
It is locked.
May I try and pick that lock again?
Go ahead.
That was dexterity.
Jesus Christ!
Really?
So you just kind
I
of...
didn't get this with butterflies, but I get this with a lock.
Yep. So you just kind of like fiddle about with it. This is a much more complicated lock, but after a minute or so, you just hear as the trapdoor opens. All right.
And down we go.
Okay. So you go down into a small corridor. This corridor is cramped. Like you kind of like it's wide, but the roof is very short. You have to actually like sort of like stoop over a little bit in order to like walk through it properly. After about a minute or two, it opens up wide to the point where you can stand up straight, and you're in a small, like, not like super small to the point where it's like claustrophobic, but a small room, and you can see various tables and chairs and such kind of dotted about. Looking at it, these are in good condition, meaning that they are maybe not fully recent, but they're not rotting away.
And are there any things like papers, books, somewhere scattered around, or what's up on top of the tables?
Make another investigation check. You have a look around. You find some candles. Like some fresh ones, some that are partially burnt down. But you don't find anything particular of interest. Yeah, no, you won't even see... Yeah, 5 now. You won't. Okay, yeah, so that's all you see.
I'm going to take out my little hooded lantern and light that, take out my map of the city that I have, and mark this place down.
Okay.
And I know I have dark vision. Would I have a better chance looking around with the lantern?
You can make another investigation check, but the DC is going to be higher.
I'm gonna try because I want to find something.
Okay. 19! Okay, even with the increased DC. So, looking about with a mixture of your dark vision and the lantern, you kind of like look about, and then you noticed, like in the corner, this is like, you know, solid brick and such, but you notice one of them sticking out a bit, and you walk over to it, and you just kind of like have a feel about, and you feel part of it sort of like sink in slightly. As you like push your fingers in more and then pull, what now appears to be a fake brick so like pops out. And as you look inside, you can see a small bit of cloth.
Let's take that out.
Okay, so you take it out, you unfurl it. You can see that that this scrap of cloth has the fallow crest on it, but you can see some rather poorly drawn, like, people with swords sort of encircling it. And below it, in very messy handwriting, you can see the words, Bringers of Virtue.
I'm just gonna pocket that.
Okay.
And you said, what did it say?
Bringers of Virtue.
Is there anything else in the hole?
You kind of look inside. Just that. Like, you see a few scraps of parchment, but as you, like, look at them, there's nothing written on them.
Hooray, free paper.
And I'd actually say as well, with that 19 investigation, go ahead and make an Arcana check as well for me, just quickly. 3. Okay. That's fine.
I know nothing.
Alright.
I'll take my leave of this place then.
You know nothing, Katie Misfortune.
Okay. So, you make your way back through the corridor and up the stairs. Do you close the trapdoors behind you, or what do? Do you just leave them be?
I will close everything behind me.
Okay. So you close and you relock it and such. As you leave the actual house, make a perception check for me.
Perception.
This went in far more detail than I was expecting.
Yeah, I left and I came back and we still have to.
And this is how Fortune gets kidnapped.
I never expected to roll this high
And she's
at any point in this campaign.
Yeah.
Oh
So
god, this is how Fortune gets cut down by the Mexican drug cartel.
So as you kind of like take a look around to make sure nobody saw you, you can see a little bit in the distance, there's like 2 people that are just casually like talking. One of them appears to be very drunk. But you notice that the one that isn't drunk keeps like very slightly like glancing towards where you are. It's very discreet, but because you rolled so fucking high in your perception.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to fiddle around with my dagger as I walk away.
All right. So, you keep you like occasionally look over your shoulder and such. The individual that was glancing at you does not appear to be following you, though as you kind of like stop in the cover of darkness and look back, you can kind of see the two individuals like very quickly like run toward like down the stairs towards the basement of the house you just came out of.
Can I take my shortcuts to get back quickly?
Yes, you can. All right.
Alright.
So you very quickly return to the Fallow Manor. Let's go with the boys.
So, boys.
So how much you want to focus on this then, guys?
We'll just go briefly on the town, find the girls.
Okay.
Girls.
Yep.
If that's the case, then all of you make your separate charisma checks.
Just a charisma check?
Oh yeah. There's no
Yeah,
shortage. There's no shortage of people wanting some.
For fuck's sake.
I mean, that's
Man
not bad.
whores, the lot of you.
It's time for the boys. Oh, really? Okay.
Grayson's gonna play wingman instead.
I'll allow it, I guess.
Okay, let's see what the second.
action.
Let's see what the second one is.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Ultimate wingman. And for this, there's only one thing I must say now. I must find the picture, though.
okay. So, in your little escapades and your night on the town, it costs you 8 silver, but the three of you.
Okay.
That's for like drinks and gifts and such. And
This is from Gratian.
the inevitable room that you will be buying because
Yep.
It's the room where it happens.
Oh my god, I hate you guys.
I know you do.
And I guess then if that is literally all you are going for, you're not doing anything extra, that is the night of at least 2 of you, since Gratian apparently is just chilling.
Yep.
He's chilling.
But you two for that night are like the villain with the ton of girls arm in arm, just surrounded by him. Because you rolled so fucking high.
Well, it's like the bard and the warlock who both have 20 charisma.
Yeah.
Glorious success.
Like the best speakers, you are able to woo an assortment of ladies.
And their quiet friend.
Of all shapes and sizes. And races.
It's like that pitch. It's like
Khalid is mostly really oblivious about a lot of it. He's just like hanging out. And
it's
enjoying
it's like yes, me, my friends, and the harem of babes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. So I guess that is what your
At least Gratian isn't a man whore.
that is the entirety of your night, it seems.
I use the dreams. I cast dream to have a dream adventures. Anyways, I could do that.
So your fun doesn't stop just there. You decide to have more fun after the fact in their dreams.
I just
Oh,
realized
for
I could do
fuck's
that.
sake!
I just realized
Oh
I
my
could do that until I do that. But anyways,
We're seeing a side of Velop that I never thought we'd see.
yeah, that's the.
I
end
will
of the-
use Dream to actually send a message to
Oh my gosh.
to Caitlin's uncle, who is currently looking after Delson's mother.
strange thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
after
will-
you go and sleep with these women.
So
it
in your
goes.
somewhat drunken stupor,
Yes.
you're able to form yourself into the uncle's dream and such. In the dream, he's just kind of the outside area is like just very bright, and it's a beautiful garden and such. And he's just there, seemingly in his own house.
Excuse me, my lord.
Oh, Delson.
Yes, it is I.
Oh my
I-
god.
I've actually contacted you to both pass on a message and ask about, how is mother doing?
This is a dream, right?
This is.
This is a weird as fuck dream. Just drinks a bit more.
I have been told so, yes.
Well, it's like what I was gonna say to you if you ever visited. She's doing fine. You know, she don't sleep, so I can't do much about it when I go to sleep. But
Yes, I would like, because I can't actually visit her because she doesn't ever sleep. I want you to let her know that both her children are fine, and we're currently somewhere in Ensor. I know that I'm about to leave Ulmandow. As for Ellie, she's somewhere, but I know that she's alive now. It's confirmation.
you can see this entire time, like the dream variant of him is just looking very confused.
Unfortunately, I have to be brief because some stuff's going on. Let my mother know that I love her, and with any hope, we shall be back soon. At least I shall be back soon.
Right. Okay. I will. Why does my dream tell me to do this? Whatever. It'll be fine.
Call it a message of fate.
It's the weirdest fuck dream. Whatever the hell I ate, I ain't eating again. Jesus. Gods. But you get the feeling that the effect of the spell is happening, but just he himself is extremely confused.
Yes. And also as a bit of warning, do not make any moves on her. So, thank you and goodbye.
Before it pops up, you hear, wait a second, what? And the spell ends.
Yep.
Okay. So, with that in mind, Nemesis, you are doing research into your father's side of the family.
Yep.
Okay. Make an investigation check. Norium 2 will make one.
Oh, thank God.
Hey, okay. You're not able to actually find any books in the library. Any that involve the family appear to be missing. However, Norium just quickly heads over to his own private study and comes back with several books. And these are books of the noble families of Jurhan. And so, and so for the next few hours, you kind of just look at through all of them. I think you find a book that's got a bookmark in it. And Norium noticed oh yes, that was the one which I saw the name in glancing. And in it mentions of the minor noble families. It's a little bit out of date because it has things like the Rona families as being like these much weaker nobles, and let me find the other ones. And the Johanna nobles, like, being rulers and such when they haven't been for a while and are, in fact, on the verge of losing their nobility.
Yeah.
But then you find the Villant family. These are very small selection of noble lords and ladies. Predominantly, they are an offshoot of the Zin noble family, which is the more military-based. Their claim to fame was that pretty much the entirety of the noble family have all enlisted. And you start looking into the various books and such, and you find one, the most recent one you can find. It mentions the Villant family, and it does mention some of their offspring, but you only see 3 of this, like, family tree. And those 3 names are... Let me just quickly pull up the list. So the 3 noble names that you see of the Villant family, the most recent ones, are Louise Villant, Senna Villant, and the 3rd one is crossed out.
Can I get maybe like a little bit of it, or is it just like completely scratched out?
I would say, what would be the best check for this one?
Be some sort of deciphering skill.
Yes, it would be good. Let me just see. I'll just open... Because I've got fortunes open here. I would say either...
Insight?
No,
Insight
because
is
that's
body language.
that's intention. Either... I would say either perception or investigation, whichever one you prefer.
I have a 1 in perception and nothing in investigation, so. Oh my god.
Okay. It is still heavily scribbled out, but because you rolled a natural 20, I'll just quote unquote whisper it.
Okay.
So you can see that the word is a lot longer, but you see those 3 letters particularly.
Alright. And how do you spell the other names?
Louise, you know because I did mention that one to you previously.
Yeah.
Because you recognize that name as your father's.
So this is recent enough.
Yeah, but it
Okay.
you can see at this point though, it seems to be, it looks to be at least 20 or 30 years old.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
So this appears to be when they were kids. And I'll just put it in campaign notes. So the second one is, that's how it's pronounced. Spelled even.
Alright.
Jeez, you guys are rolling great on the on these rolls here.
Which is surprising.
It makes me happy because it means I can finally, like, rather than be a case of like, okay, all this information, oh, you rolled bad, here, too bad. Now it's like, here, take the information, take all of it. But with outside of the one that is your father, because you have had no contact with the Villant family minus your father itself, you do not know who these 2 other people are.
It looks like I at least have 1 name and a half.
Well, it's better than nothing.
wonder if I should go back down to Delacrosse and speak to the Zim family. Perhaps they would know something.
From what I've heard, and he sort of like points to a small article, and it does point out that Zin and Villain family not on good terms.
Great. Even though they seem to be, by offshoot, do you mean like maybe distant cousins, or?
It could be a case, potentially.
Okay. There's some sort of relation.
Yeah. Like, you would probably, you would have to actively, like, track the Zin family history, which, searching about, the fellas don't give a shit about the Zin's family history.
Yeah. I wonder if I could find more information in other cities and other libraries.
Well, probably ones that are more, shall we say, accepting of the other nobles.
Of course. I'll have to start hunting for that once I'm able to leave.
Yes.
At the very least. If there's something, there's leads. There's things for me to look for.
Well, it sounds like you're basically going all over the continent. Or at least the kingdom.
Until I can pinpoint something, I guess so.
You know, I think that your escape from Jurhan did you some good then.
You think so?
Well, you've probably explored more of the city, the continent, and done more stuff in the about 3 or 4 months than you probably have done in your entire lifetime.
Thanks. I'm proud of the things I've done, and I hope to keep doing them.
Then stand on what you have achieved and not what your family name meant.
Now see, that makes me feel better.
Next time you save a girl as well, then Mother won't be able to claim it was in honor of the family. No more favors that she can pull in.
Keep me updated. I would love to hear about her squirming.
I imagine that the squirming will start the second I actually send the letter to the Regent. Actually, me doing it would be a bad idea. I'll send Vincent to do it.
Poor Vincent.
Or that, or I could just... No, wait, Quan, that'd be a better one. That'd be the ultimate kicking the teeth for them. You see just a sinister smile just creep upon his face. His eyes flash. Quan, would you be willing to deliver a letter for me tomorrow? I can explain it when you're up here. Pause. He'll do it.
We may not be Thalos soon, but we're still evil.
And we may not be Fallow soon, but you are still my sister.
And you, my brother.
He just kind of looks at you with a smile still. And then you continue to look through anything you can.
Yep. This is like the third time that I've cried in this session. Good job.
In my defense, the first time was on you.
Yes, that was of my own volition.
And we still got an hour of the session to go.
Oh,
Pat,
God.
pat, 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 pat.
Okay, so Is there any? I assume then, given all the stuff that's happening there, unless there's something Fortune is planning to do, I assume that it's a case of retiring for the evening.
She just comes back kicking in the door. Nemesis, holy fuck!
What? Did you blow up something already?
No. But I found something.
You found something.
I found something.
Is it an animal?
No, it is not an animal.
If you pull it out, it will not be an animal.
It is not an animal. I promise.
All right.
And I give her the little scrap of fabric that I found.
What is this? I guess I look at the fabric.
Nori kind of looks as well. Well, yes, that is the fallow crest, but there's drawings of people around it, and what's this? What's the? Jeez, the writing on this is terrible. Bringers of virtue.
It was really cool. I found it under a fake brick, under a trapdoor, in a basement, that I kind of maybe had to break into, but it's okay because everything was run down anyways and clearly abandoned.
What?
Norian's eyes flash. Vincent, can you come over here very quickly? We're in the library.
How old does the fabric look? Like...
It doesn't look very old, actually. It's just been...
Okay.
It looks like it was a, like part of the standard that was just ripped... ripped off, kind of.
And Nori and I don't recognize it at all.
I mean, you recognize the crest, but the bits around
like
it...
the people and, like, the writing.
No, you don't.
Okay.
A few minutes in, Vincent walks in, not armored, in as medieval pajamas, looking very tired. What? Alright. What's going on? You do see, he does still have his sword. It looks like he just woke up, like, put his sword belt on and just made his way over here. Does this mean anything to you? Look at it. He's gonna make a check. Way to break the trend here, Vincent. No, never heard of it. Why?
Can I... Do I believe him?
Insight check.
Okay. Oh my god, the trend has been broken.
Way to go, Vincent. It's hard to tell. You can tell at the very least he is very fucking tired.
Okay.
Just hands it back. Yeah, no. Yeah, doesn't seem familiar to me. Right, I would have thought that maybe you would know. Apologies. By all means, feel free to sleep in the morning for this. Alright. Hey, Fortune. Hey, MC. Good night. He walks out.
Good night.
Alright.
This is bizarre.
It's interesting. Was there anything else that happened? Like, anything else that was in there of interest, or anything?
Not really. Everything else looked extremely run down. But everything inside the secret room looked really, really new. There was also some guy giving me the side eye as I was coming back. He didn't follow me, but I was watching him.
And you didn't think anything was weird about that?
I'm purple. I'm used to getting weird looks.
You didn't think that the fact that there was new furniture in a very rundown building and someone was watching you the whole time, like while you went in and out, you didn't think that was strange?
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I brought it back to you.
Right.
Just pulls out the map and displays it on the table. So anyway, this is the area. I marked it down here. This is the area that I took.
That part of the city's been abandoned for years.
Obviously not if there were people there.
One was drunk, one was staring at me. Like I said, I had to break through a couple of different trapdoors to get down there. Thankfully, no traps.
That area was the Warden's district.
Fuck.
The reason that place has been
That's-
abandoned is because that was where the Wardens of the Worldfire resided, outside of those higher up.
What did these people look like, Fortune?
What did these people look like, Tom?
They were human.
They were humans.
Is there anything possibly description worthy about them?
With the, I think it was the 19 perception I had there, do I remember anything?
They were, the thing is, they were rather unremarkable. Their clothing was a bit more, fancier, closer to the Gilded Circle, but not beyond it. You do notice that the one which you thought was drunk, when you turned it back around and saw them run into the house, definitely was not running like a drunk man.
No hair color or style or build.
With dark vision, you see things in shades of grey.
Okay, build.
Oh, that's fair.
Hair
The
length.
the drunk one was taller than the not drunk one. You'd have to hazard a guess. Maybe the taller one was about 6 foot. Was the small one was about 5'7". Big one was also a bit of a stockier build, whereas the smaller one was much more, much thinner and such. In fact, I'd say as well, even without the whole thing about shades of grey, the taller one was also bald. Completely bald. Yes, as far as you're aware, they might have penises.
Oh my god.
Grayson said that, not me.
Alright. Why don't we go back there together and investigate?
How about right now?
I suppose we don't have any other time.
Has anyone else come home? We could take them with us. Make it a full party excursion.
Given
Boys,
what
they're
given what they said, I don't believe that they are there. Trafnar, last I checked, is passed out drunk, as is Raya.
Brother, would you like to go on an excursion of sorts?
You see him hesitate a bit.
Family bonding.
Make a
We can bring Essie and Scamper.
make a persuasion check.
Okay. Do I get advantage because I'm his adorable little sister?
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I will let Sessa know that I will be out for a bit, and I shall change into something less fancy, shall we say. I would advise you dress more like a common folk person as well.
Alright, alright. I believe I still have my things from when Vincent took me out before.
Alright, so it's only a couple of minutes. You're able to quickly change into more not downtrodden clothes. They're still nice clothes, but it's a case of, you would fit more in outside of the Gilded Circle than within it. And Norium also comes back as well. He's got a tattered brown cloak, and so it's just and a regular cream tunic. You can see he's got a small staff that he's sort of using as sort of almost like a walking stick kind of deal.
Yeah.
Very well.
Get your people clothes.
This is is what poor people dress like, right?
Two people that aren't too sure what the common folk dress like, trying to dress like the common folk. Very well. Lead the way, Fortune.
Okay, but first I'm going to help you two because you're too clean, and I'm just gonna take some dirt and I'm just gonna like rub it on his clothes.
No.
Not Nemesis, just Nori's.
Still no.
Norium seems fine with it.
Nemesis wholeheartedly not.
Alright.
Can I take them
Alright.
down practically the same way but different side streets?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
So, you make your way down there. Yeah, geez, that feat is going to change things. Alright. So, you make your way over to the house. And as you kind of like look over, the door is open.
Did you leave the door open? Jen?
No, I was good and locked everything behind me.
Alright.
Trust me, Nemesis, I know what I'm doing here. This is my job.
I am not going to say what I was thinking. Alright, we are going to proceed with caution. This is the moment where we stealth and Nemesis' armor goes clink, 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 clink.
Oh, are you actually wearing your armor,
No,
or are
wait,
you
she
just wearing...
doesn't have armor on.
You're wearing normal
Oh my
clothing.
God, thank you.
Okay, if you're going to be stealthy, then go ahead and make a stealth check. I will make one for Norium. And the best part is, it's not with disadvantage for you, because regular clothes. Okay, let's see. He is not proficient in stealth, so... Oh, that's good. He rolled a 3.
Oh, Nori.
But thankfully, because you 2 rolled high, you're able to cover for him.
Look out, there's something there. There's broken glass there. Don't step on the twig.
Oh, okay, all right. So you make your way through the cellar. You don't see the trapdoor open.
Alright, I'm gonna try and open it without my thieves' tools this time, just to see if they didn't lock it.
It opens.
Okay.
Down we go.
Do we hear anyone during this?
Make a perception check.
Can it be with advantage, because there's multiple of us here?
No, it would be a separate.
Oh my god. I opened Norium's sheet and I was like, wow, where did I get 5 perception? And I was like, wait.
Wait, and he's not proficient in it anyway, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, you don't hear anything. But you creep down, still using your very high stealth checks.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
And you begin to sort of sneak in the shadows.
Can I have, like, a spell prepared in case something happens?
So the way it is with holding spells is if you can hold it, but if nothing happens by the start of your next turn, the spell slot is used up, but the spell doesn't activate.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a bit different if you use a cantrip, because you can use them all the time.
Yeah, I just wanted to have Blade Ward prepared.
Okay. Well, you can go with the intention of, you know, if something happens, you'll do it, because you're not actually in combat.
Right.
So I'll allow
takes
it.
one action to do it and only asks for 1 round.
Yeah. So...
If something happens, I'll smack someone in the face with my hammer.
Yep.
Because I do have that.
Yep. Okay. So, you make your way through this corridor. It's incredibly difficult for you, Nemesis, because it is a low roof. Like, you're practically having to, you know, like, squat walk, kind of.
Oh my god. Me
like
and
it,
Nori are like leaning over.
Yep.
We're both too tall.
Yeah, you can see Norin's kind of like using the stick as sort of like a bit of a brace as well. but eventually you get through. In the distance, you can actually see light coming from the room, and you can hear some hushed voices. So I'd like all of you to make, the three of you to make a perception check. I say the three of you, I'm going to be rolling for Nori and myself, but you know.
Yeah.
Norium is continuing to disappoint me right now.
He's out of his element.
God.
He also rolled a
Oh my
4.
god, both of the siblings are
Yep.
just...
Well, thankfully, Fortune's at the front.
Mm-hmm.
Fortune, you can hear some hushed voices. It's difficult to make it out because they are being quiet, but there are people in that room.
Can I make an educated guess on how many people are in the room?
With that perception check, at least 2.
Or at least 2. Okay, so there's at least 2 people in the room. Stay quiet. Stay low. And
I don't
Nori,
think I'll have any trouble with
don't
that.
trip on the rock.
Sorry.
Slowly moving forward.
Okay. You're at the threshold of the way in, so you sort of like peek your head over. You can see there's 3 people that are over by the fake brick. And you can see another one at the side, kind of like very quickly like dismantling the chairs and such best he can.
I want to do something, but I think it's kind of stupid.
What are you doing?
I'm going to try and stay up against the wall and move into the room.
So there
But
is
telling the others to stay here.
so there is no cover in that room. Like, there is nothing you'd be able to hide behind. So basically, it's a case of if you step into that room and they turn around and look to the entrance, they will see you.
Can I try another stealth check for this?
You do it with disadvantage.
We've been rolling okay. We've been rolling good. I'm going to try and have faith in my character for once.
Oh god. Oh.
Fucking hell.
That.
Oh my God,
Fucking
the
hell.
luck. Oh my
The
god.
luck. The luck is real.
So you quickly sneak in, and as you kind of quickly look around, you take one of the tables and very quietly, like, move it over so you can actually hide behind it. At this point, you can hear the voices a lot clearer now. The one that is kind of like trying to dismantle the table and chairs, you can just hear it's just grumbling and swearing basically. Make another perception check to see how clearly you can hear the ones that are near the brick wall. 13. Okay. You don't hear it very clearly, but you do catch a few words. So this is going to be weird because I'm essentially going to be like Charlie Brown's parents, wah 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 style of this. So you just hear, that triggered the alarm. Had horns and was, I couldn't see the. Then the other ones figured, well, or foe. Not like a.
Is that pizza? Is that cauliflower pizza? Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm sorry.
Nemesis's eyes just glaze over temporarily and starts to muttering
Cauliflower
about.
pizza.
And you just hear Norin say, a cauliflower what?
Oh my god.
Yeah, pizza's not been invented yet.
Yeah. It's really difficult to hear until you hear the voice speak up, which you can all hear. So, how quickly are we to getting these chairs sorted? Leave me be. I'm working as hard as I can.
What did you say that name was?
Laszlo.
Aww. That's cute.
Okay. Just going to be... Wow, they rolled shit on their perception check. So they don't see Nemesis and Norium just kind of like crouched over in the door frame. Alright, so what else are you doing then? My purse is broke.
Oh no.
There we go.
Can I do something with Nori, actually?
Sure.
Nori has the ability of detect thoughts.
Okay.
There are no thoughts within the room. I am sorry. They're all with Nelson.
I mean, there are two thoughts.
You can enforce as creatures when you cast a spell as your action on each turn till spells. You can focus your mind on any one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Free if lower, can't speak. Initials in the surface forts. Okay. So, you're going to have Norium cast that spell?
I think I am. I don't think that we can do really anything else without a confrontation. So, I think that's what... Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, obviously, that you are risking confrontation with each time, because there is only one way in and out here.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Either way, I feel like we can take a couple of commoners, but...
So, Norium is going to... I'm going to make him do another stealth check here, because it is vocal.
Come on. You can do it, honey.
So the previous times he's rolled really shit. He rolled a natural 20 on his stealth this time.
Yes! Oh my god, I'm so proud of you.
Okay, so... which one is he targeting then? There are 4 individuals. There is Laszlo, who is, just disassembling the tables and chairs best he can. It's not IKEA furniture, so he's having a bit of a hard time.
Even then, IKEA furniture is pretty tough to work with sometimes.
And then you can see 3 other people. Fortune, the 3 that you can see, you recognize 2 of them? One of them's the small, thin fella that was glancing at you, and the other one was the tall, big one that was acting drunk. Not acting drunk here. Definitely not. The third one you can see is a woman who was the one that yelled at Laszlo a second ago. She's got brown hair that goes down to just below her shoulder blades, but she's got her back to you, so you can't see anything else beyond that.
Do any of them in particular look like the leader?
Or
is it just they just look like ragtag?
They look ragtag, though, given the only hint you could get is that the female one was barking the order to Laszlo.
That's what I was thinking.
But you couldn't tell.
I'm gonna go with the female.
Okay.
Because she seems to be giving orders, and also girls are just naturally smarter.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, you can detect the surface force without having the creature realize it. It's only if he probes deeper that he runs the risk. Okay. So you watch as Norium whisper some arcane words, and watch his eyes just focus on the female.
Okay.
Alright, there's a lot of things going through her head here. A lot of it is questions. They're all jumbled. It's, who was this person? Who do they belong to? Where do we go now? It's a lot of wheres and whys.
Alright. And then...
Go ahead.
I'm just reading it. It does say that you can shift to another person's mind.
Yep.
Alright. So I'm gonna go for the one that looks like it was the one that Fortune was talking about that was watching her.
Okay. Yeah, so this one, Lauren just like focus again and just directs the spell. So this one is focusing intently on the description of the person that they saw. Also getting the odd bits of, again, like, who was it? Lots of, oh shit, we're going to be found and killed. But a predominant part of it is just trying to remember the description of the person. If that's their attempt of what Fortune looks like, they definitely need to work on their memory a bit more.
Can I ask what she looks like to them?
Have you ever seen a drawing of an imp?
Okay.
A large purple imp with very, very long horns. Like, the horns are nearly the size of... This person really needs to work on their memory.
Alright. What about the other one, the one by him?
Directs to the big one. A lot of the same. A lot of where are we going? What were we going to do? And what is Vanessa's plan is one which I'm seeing here that it keeps going back to.
Does it show you who Vanessa is?
Nope. This is very weird. It's either rudimentary images or a description in words.
Alright, and then I suppose that last one there.
The one they call
the
Laszlo.
One that's grumbling about.
He just like darts a few seconds and he gets a stifled laugh. These are words. He's saying a lot of words which would not be becoming of a noble.
What do you recommend we do from here?
I'm not too sure. I will just follow your lead and Fortune's.
Well, we could come out and get more information, or just leave. I feel like we might have stumbled upon something, though.
You hear a voice come from within the room. What was that about leaving? And you kind of like look up and you can see the three individuals, like the two males just kind of there looking like terrified. The female now that's turned around, you can actually see there's a large scar across her forehead and goes partially down to her right eye. For the record, they rolled a 17 and 18 and a natural 20 on their perception.
Yup.
Damn.
Alright.
Okay, so I have three
like...
questions then.
What was that? Was that Anna?
3 questions.
Yes.
The room has a slight glow to it. Where are the candles?
It would be near their area. Like, near where they're standing. Like, the table nearest to these 3 individuals, and there's one near Laszlo that's got a, candle there.
Fortune.
2, have
Don't
they
do
noticed
it.
me or just them?
Because you rolled a 20, and one of them rolled a natural 20, and has additional bits above that, you do see, like, you kind of, like, peek your head over, and as you do, you watch as, like, the female just look at you. So, yes, you were spotted.
Can I drop Blade Ward and Control Flames?
Sure.
Oh my God.
I would say you're not actually holding Blade Ward specifically.
I think this is like she was saying, don't do it.
This is what I was saying, don't do.
Hold on.
Oh
Don't
my
do
God.
it.
They're
I just
gonna be
wanna-
hostile towards us now.
They were already getting hostile towards us. We backed them into a corner. I just want to
Yeah,
snuff out
but
the
we
flame
haven't even
before
said
we do that.
anything yet, and now you're gonna fucking burn them?
I'll just
I'm
point.
not burning them. I'm snuffing out the candle near them because they're human and they can't see in the dark.
Oh my God. This is gonna go great.
Yup.
Okay. So you're going to use control flames to snuff out the candles?
Yes.
All right.
This is like how 95% of our plans go.
Yep. So just there's
You mean-
there's like a split second
What
before
plan?
you hear before you hear him say, "Hey, who did that? Fucking turn the light, get the light back on." I don't fucking. You got a few seconds before they get the lights turned on. What are you doing?
Okay, I want to figure out what's up, and Fortune is stupid. So I am going to go ahead and block the entrance/exit. I'm big enough.
Yep. Norium's behind you because he can't get through. So
Okay, I'll help him through first.
you have to. So you step into the room, let Norium through, and then step out. It's like, very well.
Yep. And now I'm just kind of in the doorway.
What are you doing,
Just kind of
Fortune?
block it off.
What-
All right. Everyone, calm down.
Well, what's Fortune doing first?
Hopping up, short sword and rapier in hand.
Okay.
Oh my god. It's almost like Fortune wants to fight.
So there's a bit of silence here in the pitch darkness. And you hear a voice. Can we light a candle? I can't see.
Go ahead.
You just see a few like sparks of flint and steel, and some of the candles ignite. Then you just hear a sigh, and there's a click of the finger, and you can see one of the candles just is illuminated from the light spell, and you can see it's
Sounds like I'm warm.
the woman.
All right. So, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves first?
Why should we tell you anything, Miss
Nemesis.
Nemesis? The follow?
For a few more days.
You see just a sheer look of confusion just go over her face. Norium, who's still holding the spell, mutters, "She doesn't know what that means."
You see, I'm renouncing my title. Soon, it'll be official.
You're bullshitting.
Nope, you'll see it in a few days.
And just as well to point out, none of these people are armed.
Yeah, I figured they're all just like random common.
Like the closest that people have to a weapon is Laszlo, and that's just because he's got tools to, break apart these tables
Got
and
a
chairs.
chair.
Yeah, like you see, like as like Fortune, you saw, well, you've got dark vision as well, don't you, Nemesis?
Mm-hmm.
So you both saw him like just lift up a chair,
Norium
and
has devil sight.
so he has dark vision, but he wasn't able to
And
see
he
it because you were in the
darkness, yeah.
yeah, but because you were in the way, he wasn't able to see. But like
Yeah.
you saw in the blind panic, Laszlo just pick up the chair and he's now like holding it like from the back of it, just eyes wild, just like looking about everywhere.
Can I point my rapier at him and try and intimidate him to put the thing down?
Make an intimidation check. I'd say with advantage. I'd say with advantage, given the situation. Okay. He just like
Part of me starting.
he throws the chair to the side and just like is back with his hands up, like just back against the wall.
Fortune, can you please just stop? I'm trying to calmly talk to them.
The big human like points to, "Oh, yeah, that was one that we saw breaking in." Was it now? So you're the one that found your way in here.
Yes.
May I ask why?
Quite frankly, I was just bored. You should really get better locks, though. They're not that much fun to break apart.
Look at the female, just look over to the smaller male. He just kind of like fidgets nervously. And I
It's
assume...
true, she does this.
Noted. And, who is this? The one with the cloak. And, at this point, Norium, like, stands up straight. You are speaking to Norium Fallow of the Fallow family. Also soon to renounce his title, though not for a bit longer. This gives me many questions.
We have a few questions too about what all this is.
Given that our emblem is missing, I can only assume that you have it.
Oh, this thing? And we'll take out the fabric.
Yes.
What is this?
It is our emblem for the Bringers of Virtue.
Oh, are you guys trying to be the revolutionaries? Oh, that's so cute.
Fortune!
What?
Can you shut your mouth for 5 seconds?
Make me, dear.
You do not know what I will do to make you shut up.
I would love to see you try.
It is nothing that Fortune is thinking. Nem would probably clock her with her hammer.
She would love that.
Oh my god.
And I'm just here like, I know a spell that Norium could do to sort that out.
Do it.
I'm not gonna do it.
Alright.
I'm not gonna do it unless Nemesis wants me to. Or Peach wants me to, I
Fortune
should say.
keeps talking right now.
Do it.
Then I guess the jig is up then. Yes. You are correct. Fortune, was it? We are the Bringers of Virtue. We are...
Just ain't the rest of it. Okay, but I'm stealing a piece of sausage.
I'm sorry, what? Nemesis' eyes glaze over again.
She's had a bit to drink. Don't mind her. Just keep talking.
We are a... I wouldn't call ourselves revolutionaries, so that is something that we would not be against. We are a group of individuals who are unhappy with the constant treatment that these people, just looks over to Nemesis and Fallow, have to the people of Ulmandow. And we would hope that they would be able to reform or improve, either directly through the voice of the people, or yes, through revolution if it gets that far. I hope it does not, though.
Is this all of you?
I do not feel I need to tell you if this is all of us.
I'm the one with 2 weapons out right now. You should just tell us.
I would rather not threaten them. Listen, my brother and I were actually hoping to find you.
Well, congratulations,
Not
you
for
did.
Any executions or the like. As we've told you, we are rescinding our titles soon. You don't have to believe us yet, but you will know in a few days. I'm sure that it'll be talked about everywhere. I agree with your stance. And my group and I were hoping to provide assistance any way that we could.
Just kind of looks to both you and Norium. With all due respect, Nemesis Fallow, I am a woman who prefers actions over words.
Alright. I can agree with that.
So, until I see and hear that Nemesis Fallow has decided to rescind her cushy, noble life, I don't see a reason to tell you anything.
And that's perfectly fair. I would like some sort of deal, though.
Her eyes narrow. What kind of deal are we talking here?
In a few days, when everything is announced, I'd like to meet up with you again and actually join your group.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Alright. Boy.
How
With,
bad is it?
with respect, Nemesis Fallow,
Oh, you don't have to lie to me. I know that there is none.
very well. I would much rather be seen dead than working alongside a Fallow, former or otherwise. Besides, and I do mean this sincerely, the idea of a Fallow working with us would be the ultimate spit in the face, since we are actively opposing the Fallows.
Oh, I can agree with that. Except I won't be a Thallow.
Former or otherwise.
Okay, I suppose it's your loss. Even though I still have pull with a bunch of noble families, and I'm starting to gain leeway with a lot of common folk. In fact, a whole nation worships me, but you know.
She just laughed, just... a whole nation. I doubt that.
Oh no, it's true. Unfortunately, it is true.
You know, I heard that you fellows were very self-centered, but I didn't believe you were this self-centered.
Oh, trust me, it's all true. 100% of it. Actually, you know what?
What?
I have Zone of Truth.
Very... Wait. No, you are not using that on us.
Oh no, I didn't want to use it on you. I'll use it on myself. Then I would have to tell the truth and you would have to believe me.
Yes, but if you cast it, you could say that you succeeded in it, and then decide not to. Look, these are bumbling idiots, but I know my way around the arcane.
I mean, that's true, but I still can't lie. All I'd have to do is keep my mouth shut, and then you'd know I was guilty. It's...
Make
the only way.
another persuasion check.
Alright.
Just a regular one this time.
Hey.
Tell that one to put her weapons away, and then we shall see.
Fortune.
Fine. But you can just say my name. It's okay.
Katie.
So you watch as the lady just walk over to the chair that Laszlo had thrown, just picks it up, places it down, and sits.
Right.
Poor Laszlo.
Norium, you won't mind if I use the spell on you too.
Very well. Though, and he turns to the lady, keep in mind that I will not talk about any family secrets at the moment. It's just part of something that we are working... And she interrupts. I do not care about your family secrets for now. Once you've supposedly rescinded, then maybe we can talk.
Alright. And I'll go ahead and cast Zone of Truth on Nori and I guess I wouldn't fight it. If Nori fights it, then he has to make a save.
Okay, you have to actually choose this in a particular area because it's 60 feet. This
15-foot radius.
Oh yeah, no, I was reading the wrong bit. Also, hi, Vise.
Yeah.
You haven't spoken for a while. Hi.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm right here.
So they should be able to get out of the range of it.
Yeah, so you have to partially move it back into the bit to have it only contact you and Norium. But yeah, Norium lets it fails, deliberately fails to save as well.
Yep. All right. Ask your questions.
Very well, let's start with a simple one just to prove that this has worked. She just leans back and just starts to think of a question. What is the name of your father?
Our father's name is Luez.
I was not aware of that. Very well. So, out of respect, I will simply ask the questions that I want to hear that will be the least trouble for you. I am not like your parents, so this shall be a bit easier. Do you have a nation, or the equivalent of a nation, that does indeed follow you?
Yes.
You see, like the two, the tall and small one just look at each other and they just kind of like, they have a look of like, oh shit, on their face. Are you indeed going to be rescinding your titles as nobles of the Fallow family?
Yes.
Norian speaks up. Yes. And it will be in a few days?
Yes.
Norian speaks up on this one. Mine, I've not fully decided. It shall be when I feel I can't do anything more in my position. Interesting. Now that you know that we exist, are you intending to cause us any harm?
No. In fact, as I said, I'd like to assist you.
Dorian speaks up. Honestly, I don't think I can do anything anyway. And to be honest, I feel a bit of a revolution would be beneficial for the city. You have a way with words. You know that, yes? Just knowing kind of like looks aside partially. Very well. Then I shall ask one final question. What do you hope would happen to your parents, should we succeed?
You see them kind of pause for a moment. I want my mother ruined and dead.
There's like you hear an audible like sort of gasp come from the taller one. I don't entirely share in my sister's feelings on this. However, if death is the only option, I'm fine with that. Ruined would probably be where I would start, at the least.
I think she's a monster and a parasite and deserves to pay.
Support your sister, damn it, Nori.
My logic, at this point, the lady like raises her hand. I think ruined would be a better idea anyway. Why give her the benefit of death to escape all of the, let's just say, the last years of her life being the worst she's ever had? A decent repentance.
My own comfort.
And that is reasonable. I too would not mind if the matriarch was killed. But that wouldn't pay back for all the suffering that she has caused to the city. And all the damage. She like just rubs the top of the scar.
I agree. I've come back to my home with new, fresh eyes, and I don't like what I see.
Feel free to drop your spell, I've heard enough.
Very well. And I'll go ahead and drop Zone of Truth.
You just see the lady deep in thought. It still stands that this group, they would certainly rebel if they knew that a fellow, former or otherwise, was a member of the Bringers of Virtue. That said, I wouldn't mind the discreet aid.
All right. I can agree to that.
This agreement would be very simple. If you wish to aid us discreetly, through whatever means you can, we will be in support of it. However, make one thing very clear. On record, you will not be part of the Bringers of Virtue. And when the time comes that we overthrow the matriarch and her husband, mark my words that neither of you will be taking that seat. That seat will be taken either by a noble family that we support, or we might try to do it the Nazian way. Elected officials and all that.
That's fine with me. I have my own plans.
And you, Fortune, was it?
Yeah.
You are very good at sneaking about and hiding. We might actually have use for you.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, would you like some help on finding a new place to hide? Maybe setting up some traps? I can help you. This is really sad.
Well, for one thing, we don't need to find a new place. If it was you yourself that found us, we were under the assumption that the Lord's God had found us.
Well, I did come back with the Fallows.
And they have already said that they are not going to report us or give any indication of our involvement.
Mm-hmm.
Dad!
Ow!
Whoops.
Who was
I will
that?
destroy you.
It was me, sorry.
Why?
Destroy you, Leah.
Anyway, as I was saying, God, I lost my train of thought. They've already said that they will not report us or show any indications, so I don't see the problem. As for traps, he just kind of like lifts up a small, what you see is a silver thread, and as she pulls it, you kind of look behind and you can see there's the silver thread goes to the doorway. We have some non-violent means.
But the violent means are fun.
But that would make us no better than the Fallows, would it not?
Not really.
You clearly have not lived in Ulmandow long.
No, actually, I come from Lesdor. But come on. You gotta admit, just one arrow in somebody that's trying to break in, it's effective.
If we get
Couple of arrows if they keep trying.
if we get found out,
Listen, she's my partner. She doesn't see things the way that you do.
you partner to a, and no offense to this Fortune, commoner tiefling, who is a thief as well.
Is this really the most shocking thing that I've said tonight?
It is one of many things. If you were not rescinding your name, that would be very good to Throw dirt on the fallow name. Ah, a chance lost, I guess.
You really do just want me to stab you, don't you?
Fortune.
I have been attacked before. This would not be new to me.
Ah, yes, but you haven't been attacked by a tiefling. We're a lot more fun.
Funny you say that.
Oh?
I
Fortune just sits down and leans in. Do tell.
I believe we are done here.
I mean, my girlfriend is still the one that's blocking the doorway. We're not done yet.
Then I guess we shall be spending a long night of silence then, won't we?
Fortune.
Yes.
Come on. It'll be our last night together for a while, so I'd rather not spend it in this hovel.
All right.
She's not broke eye contact with you that entire time. She's just there with a smug smile, just holding this this candle that is illuminated by the light spell.
I'll find you again, Vanessa. And she starts to go out, since she's by the entrance anyways.
You do see a look of surprise flash across her face as you say that.
Don't forget, we might need to have somebody train them how to use the guns.
The what?
Oh, they're wonderful. You're gonna love it. Don't shoot yourself in the eye. That's gonna hurt, though.
All right. So you you leave the supposed headquarters of the Bringer of Virtue, leaving what was originally very smug, now a very confused individual as you make your return back to the Fallow Manor. So for your last night within its walls, before the ultimate backstab to Matriarch Fallow happens. And that's what we're going to call it for this episode. I was not expecting you to do that, Peach.
Oh my god!
I was so not expecting that.
Right? Oh my god.
I was expecting the whole renouncing thing, sending a letter, saying oh, I renounced my mother's stance on this. It was not her kind of deal. I wasn't expecting you to literally go nuclear option right away.
I think Nemesis thinks, this is the option. Even if she renounces her, she's still part of the Thalos, and her mom can still use that to her advantage. But, if you just go full nuclear, there is no leeway whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, no, that is, I don't even need to say it's spoiler time. That is going to fuck the Fallow family's power.
And that's, what, I feel like she's on her way now. Fucking.
I was so not expecting that. And I also wasn't expecting fucking Fortune to find the headquarters of the Bringers of Virtue. You guys just suddenly started reading really quickly. Do the files have an air? So the next in line would have been Nemesis, followed by Norium, but Norium's going to be rescinding his title as well, so they would literally have to find they would have to basically adopt a child as their heir, which...
Or
I'm just an intern child.
Or use their father's family.
Which, good luck with that, because the Fallows fucking hate the villains.
And so now, oh my god, there's so much going on now. Nem's gonna fucking rescind her title, and then we found the fucking revolutionaries that we can start working with.
For the record, before you guys started talking about revolutionaries, I actually did have a revolutionary group, planned out. I already had this.
And then, fucking Nem's gonna be looking for her father's side of the family and trying to, like, slowly earn her own power so that she can essentially, you know, have the power to kick her mother aside.
So
Yeah.
is Nemesis gonna be choosing her own new last name now as well?
Guess so.
That
Like, she's
is-
gonna
yeah,
have to
that's-
earn her new title and everything.
If she wants to, if Nemesis decides to change her last name, she's certainly free to.
Oh my god. Oh my god, she's not gonna be Nemesis Thalo anymore.
Nope.
That's
Holy shit.
that's actually really fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god. She gets to, like, choose her own name and her own. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Well, one thing you'll have to remove from Nemesis' sheet outside of the certificate of pedigree is the noble part on the feet.
Standing anyway.
I know, so I was wondering what we would do with that. I know that there's a version of Noble that's Knight. Would she count as that, or would she have to do something for that?
Let me have a quick glance at, because there's a lot of fucking backgrounds. Let me.
A bunch of people that follow you around and do stuff for you. Like it would be like if when you do that, you like kidnap Zessa and Vincent and
Yeah.
that as well. And you're like, you guys are just gonna be my like servants now, even though like I'm not a noble person in that sense, but
Well,
you have to like
Zessa's
save them,
gonna
'cause I think
stay
it's
there,
Virginia,
but
right?
I don't know what Gemma and Vincent are gonna do.
I do. I always have to say that.